In case you're an admin of any of the Microsoft Cloud tools, you might already know this. There isn't a perfect tool that never breaks. And in case you or your team isn't able to solve any of the issues that you're currently exploring with the Microsoft Cloud, you might want to drop a support ticket with Microsoft. Now, let's make sure that this experience is going as fluently as possible right after you click on that like button and consider subscribing to the channel, obviously. The first thing you want to do is head on over to the Microsoft admin portal for Microsoft 365 and navigate to the health status, because the service health talks about general issues that Microsoft is currently involved in and giving advisory on that, or even talking about incidents or issues. So if your issue isn't on this list, you might want to go in and add that support request or that service request. To do this, head on over to the new service request, and a side pane drops where it tells you to fill in a brief description of your issue. So let's do this as an example. So there's a general issue that I need help with, and if I click on support, and if I click on enter, I can get some recommended articles, which most of the time don't solve your issue because you're already an expert in working with the Microsoft tools. So most of the times these won't help or solve your issue. And if that doesn't happen, you can contact support. And in here, you want to give the Microsoft support team a better description of your issue. Now, keep in mind, Microsoft is an English-speaking organization, so keep your support ticket always in English. If you do it in any other language, there's going to be a less fluent experience for you, for sure. So add as much description as possible and make sure that your issue already was recreated in different browsers, different systems, maybe different devices, and maybe different user roles as well, because those are questions that you are going to get. If the issue isn't reproducible during a call, they will close your call because there's nothing to solve. There's also an option to add screenshots, and they might help, but it's not a requirement because the support engineer is always going to ask you to do a live recreation of the issue. So once you've filled in everything that you have here, that you can see here, make sure you have the correct phone number because they're always going to call you. Make sure that you've chosen a time. Make sure you have consented to actually have these calls to be recorded. And make sure you have your regional settings in there, because if you have a support ticket in the Netherlands, for instance, you don't want to wake up in the middle of the night if it's not a critical call, at least. Choose an alternative language. This might not work all the time. My advice for support tickets, always go for an English-speaking situation, because the largest amount of support engineers are English-speaking support engineers. Now the next step is what is going to happen after you said contact me is that a new support ticket is being created, and you'll get an email about this in your mailbox that you've added to the support ticket. That email will include a number for your support ticket, and it will also help you to add more data. You can respond to that email, and that information is going to be stored in the ticketing system by Microsoft, at Microsoft. Now, the first time when a support engineer is going to call you, they're going to ask you politely if it's the right time to be called and if you're able to reproduce the issue with them together. Now, they're going to ask you to go to a specific website, and that website is going to be support.microsoft.com/help. It's always the same, and if you navigate to this, you will be asked to have a remote assistant support. you might want to agree to the Microsoft services as well as the licensing terms, and you would click on accept. When you click on accept, you'll get a 6-digit code from the support engineer. As soon as you get that support ticket, as soon as you get that 6-digit code, you can click on connect to technician, and there will be a little pop-up and a request to start sharing your screen. Now, obviously, the support engineer will ask you to reproduce the issue, but first, before they actually do that, they will ask you to start up a specific tool called the PSR tool. Let's do that right now. It is called PSR. It is a steps recorder. Now, first thing, before you do this, you will be asked to go into settings and increase the number of captures to 300. And once you've done this, click on start recording, and what you will now see is that every mouse click will have this little red dot in there, so that it is easier for the support engineer to see what you're doing, what's actually happening on the screen. And as soon as you click on stop recording, you will have the option to save your recording, and you will be asked by the support engineer to upload that file to their ticketing system. Now, this iteration might go about a couple of times during your call with Microsoft until that issue is resolved, hopefully faster than slower. But these were a number of things that I would like to give you as a preparation for your support ticket. Be aware that you're going to have to speak in English. Be aware to prepare your recreation of the issue. Make sure that it is not related to your specific user. Make sure that it's not related to a specific browser or device. And once you are in contact with Microsoft about the support ticket, make sure to have that 6-digit code. Make sure to navigate to support.microsoft.com/help, get that 6-digit code, and use the PSR tool to record your steps. So that's just a little consulting advice. I've been in touch with Microsoft support a number of times, and I can say this. And these are the steps that you will actually need to do to have a fluent experience with Microsoft support. You might also want to check out other videos I've done, maybe about Microsoft Teams and how to connect that to Project Online, or maybe installing Project Professional. At least consider clicking the like button and consider subscribing if you haven't already done that, and hope to see you next time.